Good morning, students. I am so excited to start these video series for you guys. It looks like I had a little bit of a snafu and putting it everywhere in the calendar except where I wanted it in the calendar, but I'll get it together so that we can you'll have this in time. We're going to do a series about every Wednesday, about 9:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, so that we can give you an overview of library and library information. And so now I'm going to share my screen. And I am going to get my picture out of the way. Okay, so as you already know how to get to the MUSC Library webpage, one of the things that you can do that's really good is that you can bookmark this location. And so that if you bookmark this location, then you're able to keep it. So I have a bookmark MUSC Library here on my webpage. So here's the lay of the land. While you guys are not currently in Charleston, when you come to Charleston, we have lots of classes and food trucks and events going on. This main page will also show you what's happening with the collection, what's happening with some new trial. This one in particular is government, politics, and law. So if anybody's interested in policy kind of information, I can't wait to share that one again. And this main part, you'll always get a heading here. If there's something down, you'll be able to have access to it. So the first thing I want to show you is our research guide for your class. And I am doing this as live as possible. So from the MUSC Library page, I click on Collections and Research Guides. And that takes me here. And of course, I click on your name, anesthesia for nurses. And this is a welcome page. And so one of the things that besides welcoming you to MUSC that it does, it gives you a lay of the land of things that you need. And so this section is extremely, extremely important so that you have all that you need to get started with the program in terms of being able to borrow resources. While I say that, never ever pay for anything until you have asked whether or not we provide it for free. So for instance, we provide citation managers such as EndNotes. We also provide RefWorks and Mendeley. So there's no need to buy something like Pearly unless you just prefer that and that's what you've been using for years. As long as you're using some sort of citation manager, that's fine. But please feel free to use what's free and online. And these are very good programs. And we can do a session. We will have a session on using that program. Also, when it comes to articles specifically, don't pay for an article either. It's unnecessary. We have interlibrary loan, which means that we will borrow the resource on your behalf and then send it to you in an email via your Iliad account so that you have access to everything it is that you need. And so the second thing, and of course, to get well, let's keep going here. Scopus is a database. It's one of the largest databases we have access to and that we purchase. You cannot create an account online. However, Scopus and Clinical Key are the same company. And so once you have an account with one, you have an account with all. And therefore, you create your Clinical Key account and then use that at Scopus. And that should be able to get you to create an account. Why are we creating accounts? Accounts are created so that you can save searches, so that you can create alerts, so that you can save information to your own personal account as opposed to constantly going and using. And so the other thing you're going to want to come up with is some way to manage your projects and papers and library resources. OneNote is a very good option for that management. Let me pause. Not the pause I want. Well, I didn't figure out what that noise was. That's okay. Let's keep moving. All right, so back here. All right, so then the other thing you need to know besides Scopus is PubMed. You're probably very familiar with PubMed, but there are lots of ins and outs and tricks of the trade to use with it. We also have something called Access Anesthesiology, and that has lots of resources, mostly books and multimedia as well. WebEx is a conference system that the hospital has paid for us to use, and right now I'm using Zoom because people have said that it's much easier to use, whereas WebEx is a bit of a learning curve to it. And then lastly, eBooks and Browsine. Browsine is a journal browser, and so that you'll be able to keep up with various nursing journals and anesthesia journals using Browsine. You can get it as an app on your phone. And then eBooks, and we have lots of eBooks for your classes. And so these are the eBooks that you will be introduced to over the course of your program. These are all books that Dr. Munn and Dr. Drusel have expressed that these are the books that they want you to be familiar with and to use, and therefore they're here so that you can easily access them. The second set of books is for these lists based on your testing, and so those are accessible. And then we have just some other general places where you can get ebooks and e-resources. And so and the rest of these we will go through and do various things. Let's go to journals and databases. This is your major journal, of course. This is Browsine, so that you can get it as an app and move through nursing. Again, document delivery. So these are the main literature searching databases that for majority of your projects you will be. There are some students that are doing some very sophisticated management kind of things, and therefore you'll be introduced to what's called ProQuest Health Management Database. And so these databases are here for you to get to literature. And in another video, we're actually going to do an in-depth search on that on those websites. And I think that, EBP. And so you've already been introduced to EBP and the EBP cycle, of course, starting with the patient or the population and what the problem is, asking clinical questions, acquiring the evidence. This is where you guys are in this PICO process right now. And then using the evidence or appraising the evidence to make sure that it is valid and sound, applying the evidence to the situation, assessing the results of applying that evidence, and then moving back to another patient or another dilemma. And so when it comes to PICO, the question always is, are you asking the right question? And using critical thinking to help solve this. And I will have a slide, because this is a lot, on actually doing your PICO, because that was not it. And these are many, many places where you can use to search. It's helpful to understand the kind of question you have and the kind of literature, but if you notice, for therapy, harm prevention, it's the same kind of literature. And of course, prognosis is a bit different, but not very different. You have clinical overview resources as well. And then you also have various journal databases based on the kind of topic you're looking at. You also have practice guidelines, and this is evidence-based practice journals very specifically. You have your own appraisal for it, but these are some additional appraisal tools that you can use for appraising the evidence as well. All right, and so we have many, many apps, and so just going over each of the pages and finding things that are interesting and of assistance to you. As for anatomy, we have lots of anatomy resources if you need to review or catch up. Those are some of them, as well as case files related to anatomy. And then there's some writing assistance as well for, interesting. That's not supposed to do that. That's okay. That will be fixed. All right, so this is your overview of the website. One thing I intentionally did not go over, and that's this box. And that's because this box can get very confusing and not as helpful as we would like it to be all the time. So depending on what it is that you're looking for, if you already have a particular list of articles that you found and now you want to add them to your EndNote and you need to just find them again, that might be a good reason to use it. Or if you're looking for particular books, that might be a good reason to use it as well. Otherwise, it's not very helpful or user-friendly. And so instead of going to the LibGuide, because I do like to show multiple ways of doing something, under resources, you have all the same exact tools that I showed, or at least these are the main tools that you will use. Under services are where you can find various things for those of you who live in and near Charleston or plan visiting Charleston. We do have study rooms, we have carols, we have laptops and iPads and other electronics that can be checked out. If you accidentally left your charger for your device at home, we have those under the equipment lending program. And so we have lots of resources here. And if you're ever interested in anything historical, we have lots of historical archives as well. And so we try to provide more information about what we have and where you can find stuff. And so please feel free to continue to reach out to me, and I will answer questions as they come. And I hope that this video has been helpful, and we will do this again next week. I'll probably post more videos in between that so that you can continue to move and progress nicely in your class. All right. My newest group, I'm so excited. Congratulations and good luck. Please feel free to continue to reach out when necessary, and have a great day.